Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alphabet Workers Union Rally Against Greed. My name is Kelly Keniston, and I'm a software engineer here at Google. I've been here for 5.5 years, and also a proud member of the Alphabet Workers Union. We're gathered here today in solidarity with our former Googler coworkers, 12,000 of whom were callously and suddenly laid off overnight 2 weeks ago. We are here while the 2022 Q4 earnings are being announced, and we're here to show that we will not take these layoffs lying down while the company continues to make so much in profit. That's right. We can all gather together and be a part of fighting for a better workplace. So now I'll be reading some testimonials from former coworkers who are part of the 12,000 laid off. They'll all be anonymous in respect for the coworkers' privacy. Okay, testimonial number 1. I'm still stunned about what Google did to us and how it decided to breach our trust. I still can't believe I don't wear my badge anymore, sit at my desk, grab water or coffee from the MK. It had been my life for over 6 years and I loved it. And it was taken away from me overnight, literally. It's mind-blowing and so unjust. I'm so upset at our so-called leaders with their pathetic and insensitive compared to what they've taken away from 12,000 quote-unquote regular earners. I keep wishing something happened that would prove them wrong. But then I realized that hundreds of thousands of quote-unquote normal Google employees have livelihood stakes in the company, and I don't want their lives to be ruined with the company's demise. And that's literally how these millionaires control us. By giving us so much, it's virtually impossible to rebel, to wish bad on their companies. It's the definition of manipulation. I have no doubt all of us laid off will move on to brighter and better shores. Yes. But it's so unfair how we were forced to by a company sitting on so much liquidity, and it's so plain and clear it's for the optics of it. Woo! Woo! Okay, next testimonial. As I was getting breakfast at our cafe, a coworker told me there's a big news announcement, and I opened my email to see I'd been laid off. A few other coworkers joined me as they too discovered that they just lost their jobs over email. It took a few minutes to read the long email and to get to the part where they also said our access was immediately revoked. I couldn't even go back to my building to get my keys. Security told us we had to be escorted and have a manager vouch for us. But none of our managers were even around. They apparently hadn't been involved at all in deciding who to let go. I spent the rest of the day trying to figure out what the heck happened. Neither my team nor the product I worked on was canceled, but despite all of my hard work and high perf ratings, I apparently was. Next testimonial. I worked at Google for 4 years as an FTE and 3 years as a TVC, so I was at Google for 7 years overall and mostly worked on the same team during that time. Overall, things were going really well prior to my layoff, and my conversation with my manager the day before covered long-term project work and career goals that made it sound like he expected me to be there for the rest of the year, let alone the rest of the week. So waking up the next morning to an impersonal mass email and completely cut off from my work account was shocking. My dream since high school was to work at Google, and then my goal became building my career at Google, so now honestly I feel a bit lost. During this time, due to perceived financial security, I grew my family and bought my first house, literally making my first mortgage payment in January. This had a huge impact on my family's financial security, especially with the state of the economy and this layoff being a bigger part of the tech industry. I'm furious that we all have to go through this, especially after all the hard work we did, and I hope to prevent situations like this from occurring again. Last testimonial. I was laid off exactly 3 months pregnant with my first baby.
Boo! Boo!
My manager and director were the second and third people I told. HR was number 4 before even telling our families. Unfortunately, in New York, we can't accept roles or income until April 28th. That means I'll be 6 months pregnant starting a new role and hoping to qualify for another company's mat leave, even though it usually takes 6 months to a year to be eligible for that. Severance runs out before the baby's here. This is a medical and financial emergency for me and my family, and yet I can't get word out of Google on how they might consider helping me. I'm realistic that this likely keeps me out of the workforce for a full year until January 2024, when the baby is 6 months old. I wish Google cared about parents and families the way they profess to, because I already feel like I'm failing as my first test of a mom, and my baby's not even here yet. The cold, hard truth about the matter is that Google doesn't care about the emergency they've put me or my baby in, and that the severance package is grossly unjust for people like me. I need help now. Now, I'll be passing off to Alberta. Hello. Okay. Hello, everyone. Can we get another round of applause for Kelly reading those testimonials, please?
Yeah!
Those are really hard stories to hear. Hi, everyone. My name is Alberta DeVore. I've been at Google for 3.5 years and a member of Alphabet Workers Union for the past 2 of those. I am here today because I am angry about what is going on at our company. Who else here is angry? I'm angry because, as we all know by now, 12,000 of our colleagues were laid off a week ago. I am angry because one of my coworkers that I see every day was amongst those who were laid off. Who here knows someone who was laid off? Raise your hands. A coworker, a friend, someone you just saw in the hallway. It's a lot of us. It was a lot of people. My very first manager was also amongst those who were laid off a week ago. She had made me feel so welcome while I was onboarding. She was at Google for 13 years when she was laid off. The day that she was let go, a new engineer who she was helping to mentor and onboard, just like she had helped me, was sitting and waiting for her in a meeting that she was not able to show up to. 13 years, and they did not give her access to email to say her last goodbye. I know it is cold outside. I'm glad everyone's here. I'm only going to be speaking for a brief moment. I just want to tell everyone 2 things while I'm up here. The first is that this did not have to happen.
That's right.
And the second is what we are going to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. Woo! So let me tell you why this did not have to happen. While I'm standing here speaking to you today now, our executives are addressing investors on their earnings call. And I'm sure our executives are saying things like they're very sad that they had to make the difficult decision to let go of 6% of staff. But we all know they're also boasting how much cost was saved by this move. So how much money did this actually save Google? How much money did this actually save Alphabet? So for those of you who might have received a flyer, there's a very handy bar chart on there that explains. If you didn't receive a flyer, I'll try to explain it in words. So at the bottom of that chart, you can see that Google saved $900 million quarterly. That's a lot of money.
okay? That's way more than I make, okay? I don't want to understate it, but it's really nothing compared to the $17 billion in profit they made in Q3, and they just announced making $18 billion in profit this quarter.
Boom!
And that same amount, around $17 billion, was used for stock buybacks, which provide no benefit to our company other than providing investor value. And both of those numbers pale in comparison to the $100 billion that we have on cash on hand. This is money that could help us weather this storm, but instead we had to lay off our coworkers. Shame! All this is to say, if an executive tells you that layoffs had to happen at Google, they are lying.
Yes.
That's right.
The current economic reality did not force Google to lay off 12,000 of our coworkers. The current economic reality is a convenient excuse for Google to follow this trend and lay people off cold-heartedly.
That's right.
That's right.
So what are we going to do about this? How are we going to make sure this doesn't happen again? Right now, a tiny group of executives are making decisions on whether all of us here today will have a job tomorrow. None of us have any say into this, even though we are the ones building and growing this multi-billion-dollar company.
Not okay.
None of us individually have the power to influence these decisions. I know some of you here think that we're going to make changes to Google's culture one Dory question at a time, but I think the events of last week have showed that that is not going to happen. But while we don't have this power on an individual basis, we do as a collective.
Yes.
That's right.
And we have a union today. If the rally and the t-shirts and the hats and the flyers didn't give it away. Alphabet Workers Union has 1,200, actually 1,300 members as of today. Can you raise your hand if you're one of those members? Nice. I love to see all of these hands. The folks who were raising their hands have all helped in different ways, large and small, over the past 2 years. We have done incredible work. Just last month, we won $10 million in pay increases for Alphabet contract workers who work as raiders.
That's right.
But 1,200, 1,300 members, as we know, is small for Google's scale. We do not have enough power to bring Google to the negotiating table. But by this time next year, we will. So what would having a strong unionized Google look like if there were to be layoffs in 2024? We have seen at other companies with strong unions, workers have been able to demand alternatives to layoffs. One popular option is voluntary layoffs, so workers who are ready to go can take the severance package instead of having mass random firings. As another example, the Kickstarter union won the right of first refusal, which means that workers who were laid off have to be the first to be offered new jobs instead of new workers.
That's right.
And we even saw this in practice recently when Microsoft announced layoffs a couple weeks ago. In that process, Microsoft has to negotiate with workers at ZeniMax, which is a Microsoft subsidiary. Right now, the ZeniMax bargaining committee is negotiating to propose alternatives to layoffs. And we are even seeing this happening now at Google in other countries where there are stronger labor laws and stronger workers' councils who are able, again, to negotiate for alternatives to layoffs. Most importantly, having a strong union means the company does not get to make decisions about layoffs without consulting their workers, which is our union. These examples are not hypothetical and they are not far off from where we are now. Our union has grown so much, even just over the past week, from people who believe that their voice needs to be heard in these matters. Let's one more time, have everyone who's a member of our union raise your hand now. If you are in this crowd and you are not raising your hand, you need to ask these people questions, ask them the hard questions, come talk to us. We want to hear your vision for our union, what you think you could do, what we could all do if we had a strong, unionized Google. Woo! Thank you all so much. I'm going to hand it over to Goran from the New York Times Tech Guild, who's going to talk about what it is like to be a unionized tech worker.
Do I have no more button? Okay, great. Oh, okay, great. All right. Maybe I do. Is this better?
That's
okay, great. I will. Thanks for introducing me, because I forgot to put that in my speech, so people would have been like, who the heck is this guy? So, hello, fellow tech workers, and happy Groundhog Day. Got a strange feeling of deja vu just now, but probably nothing. I cannot tell you how exciting it is to see you all out here collectively fighting for the working conditions you deserve, and I'm so humbled you've asked us to stand with you today. I never want to speak for all... Alright, I'll take it. Really need to put applause breaks in here. I never want to speak for all our members, but I know many were heartened when news of your union came out, with an op-ed in our own paper, no less. And it's been so great to see the victories you've had so far, and the ones I'm confident are to come in your future. To contradict myself from seconds earlier, I think I speak for all our members when I say we're with you every step of the way. I've been asked to speak today a little bit about our journey to recognition and some of the rights we've won along the way. So I ask that you indulge me in a trip down memory lane, one filled with management roadblocks that were overcome through solidarity and collective action. Things started simple enough with like-minded folks who were frustrated by management inaction on issues that matter to us, getting together with the help of the News Guild to start talking to and organizing our coworkers. We started small with a handful of us having a quote-unquote kickoff breakfast at a diner near our office, but quickly grew in number as we connected through one-on-ones and group meetings with our colleagues. The pandemic certainly complicated our efforts, but we're no strangers to Google Meet or Zoom call, so we kept at it. Once we had a solid majority of our coworkers who had signed cards, I like to say that if it were a presidential election, it would have been considered a landslide. We went public and asked for recognition for management, which, predictably, they denied. We then kept organizing and got a supermajority of our members to sign a petition asking for an online AAA election vote for our union, which, again, they denied. We then filed for an election with the NLRB, something management could not deny, so instead they fought us on who gets to be part of our unit. We know our workplace, however, and at the hearing before the board that followed, the NLRB sided with what we knew was true, that the people we work with every day, and I'm sure similarly at Google, in engineering, product, project, design, and data, deserve to bargain together.
That's right!
The next few months were a whirlwind as we stepped up our Get Out the Vote effort, won our election with an overwhelming majority of support, and started bargaining our first contract and making our workplace reflect our wants and needs. While getting this contract done is important, I am on the bargaining committee, so good Lord do I know how much work it is. I wanted to highlight some things we won just by getting certified. The first big thing has been status quo. That means that from the time of certification, management has been required to bargain with us over any changes to the workplace they want to make. These can range from slightly modifying a benefit to getting rid of a team to anything in between. It's been powerful to feel like we finally have a real say in our working conditions, and we aim to continue our hawkish enforcement of it. The second has been the ability of our members to have their shop stewards, trained fellow members, present in disciplinary meetings. Part of what makes these meetings so stressful and terrifying is that for the most part, members have to go in them alone, oftentimes with no warning before they happen. With our recognized union, our members can now demand that their shop steward be present in their corner to push back on any unfair treatment from management. We've already gotten a number of members off biased performance improvement plans, for example, and are committed to fighting for one another in the workplace. Finally, and perhaps most relevantly, I want to talk about layoffs. I don't have to tell you how scary it has been to see companies industry-wide report huge profits while at the same time laying off thousands of workers. Well, we haven't felt that at the times yet. Going into these uncertain times, I guess, with a certified union gives us a little more security, as the company is legally obligated to bargain with us over any layoffs they might want to impose. I know we've been over this, but be it getting better severance packages for members, finding new roles for them in the company, or whatever else we feel we need, having that backstop has been crucial in taking some of the pressure off the news coming out of the industry. Now, I've already spent some time violating one of the first rules of an organizing conversation, in that I've talked about me and us. So I want to again acknowledge the hard work AWU has been doing since its inception. You all have kept focus on where a union's true power comes from, collective action, and it's been and it's been an inspiration hearing news of your efforts and working with folks from your union in our own campaign. So thank you so much for having us. Please reach out to anyone in our unit about how we can be helpful to you all, and I look forward to, if that's the road you choose, being able to Google the AWU Collective Bargaining Agreement one day. And I'll hand it back to Alberta now.
Can we give it up one more time? All right, guys, I'm going to close this out with some very fun chants that a laid-off worker created for us. I hope everyone is ready for it.
Yeah!
Okay, Google, where's my team? Fired by a Sundar scheme. Okay,
Google, where's my team? Fired by a Sundar scheme. Okay, Google, where's my team? Fired by a Sundar scheme. Okay, Google, where's my team? Fired by a Sundar scheme.
All right, got another for you. Okay, Google, who is next? We should fire the execs.
Okay, Google, who is next? We should fire the execs. Okay, Google, who is next? We should fire the execs. Okay, Google, who is next? We should fire the execs.
Okay, Google, we will fight. No more layoffs, they're not right.
Okay, Google, we will fight. No more layoffs, they're not right. Okay, Google, we will fight. No more layoffs, they're not right. Okay, Google, we
Where's
will
my team? Fired by a
Sundar scheme.
Okay, Google, where's my
Team fired by a Sundar scheme. Okay, Google,
Who is next?
we should fire the execs. Okay, Google, who is next? We should fire the execs. Okay, Google,
We will fight. No more layoffs, they're not right.
okay, Google, we will fight. No more layoffs, they're not right.
Thank you all for coming. If you're not already a member of the Alphabet Workers Union, please come talk to someone here who is wearing a red shirt or raising their hand right now.
Let's go!